All right, let's go over these. All right, on the first one, I accidentally left out the answer box, so you couldn't answer the first one, but let's look at it. It says David lives 1.4 miles from school. He walks to school each morning and home each night. So that means he walks 1.4 miles to school and then another 1.4 miles home, which means he walks a total of 2.8 miles in one day. They want to know how many miles does he walk in a week, in a 5-day week. And so we would take 2.8 and we would multiply that by 5, and the answer is 14 miles. On number 2, we have -6 minus -3. Remember that two negatives together is a not. And a not is a positive. So this is really -6 plus 3. -6, +3, we have -3. On number 3, we had -9 times -2. Multiplication can be written in lots of different ways. Two sets of parentheses next to each other means multiplication. This could have been written -9 parentheses -2. It's just kind of messy to write this because of the symbols kind of getting confusing. And when we start working with variables, we're going to stop using the x for multiplication because then it'll get confused with the variable x. But a -9 times a -2, the signs are the same, so the answer is positive, and 9 times 2 is 18. And on number 4, we had x over 2 times 3 over y, and this was equal to 9/10. Whenever we multiply fractions, we multiply the numbers on the top, we multiply the numbers on the bottom. So 3 times something gives me 9. The x would have to be 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 2 times something is 10. The something has to be 5. So x was 3, y was 5. Okay. Let's see. All right, let's go over the answers to the homework. So let me get that pulled up. Hold up here. There we go. All right, so be checking those. Oh, all right, let's see. Scroll up some more. All right, so mark the ones that you want me to work. We're going to check the answers on the other sheet first, and then we will come back. And just let me scroll back up a little bit on these, just so you can double check. All right, so let's look at the answers on the other sheet, and then we will come back. All right, let's go back to this sheet, and I've got number 7 that you want me to work, number 10, any others from this sheet? All right, well, let's look at number 7. On number 7, we have 2 cubed plus 30 divided by parentheses 7 plus 3 equals. So we need to remember our acronym. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. P parentheses, E exponents, M and D multiplication or division as you come to it, A and S addition or subtraction as you come to it. So we start and we look to see if we have any parentheses, and we do. So we have to fix this first. Everything else stays exactly the same. 7 plus 3 is 10, and there won't be anything else left to do in the parentheses, so I can drop the parentheses. We're fixing one thing at a time. Then we start over again. Any parentheses? No. Any exponents? Yes. 2 cubed means 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. A lot of people get confused and say 2 to the third is 6. It's not 6. It's 8. 2 times 2 times 2. Plus 30 divided by 10. So we fixed one thing. Then we start over again. Any parentheses? No. Any exponents? No. Any multiplication or division? Yes. So this is 8 plus 30 divided by 10 is 3. And then parentheses, no. Exponents, no. Multiplication or division, no. Addition, subtraction, yes. This becomes 11. On number 10, we had bracket 20 minus parentheses 3 plus 4 parentheses times 2 bracket plus 5. All right. So any parentheses? Yes, there's a big bracket sitting here that acts as a parenthesis. So I'm going to have to fix all of that inside first. So then we go inside. Oh, I didn't switch. Sorry about that. Thank you for telling me. Y'all just letting me just go right along. Sorry about that. Okay, there we go. So here's number 7 worked. I had to do 7 plus 3 first to get 10. Then I had to change 2 cubed. 2 cubed is 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. Then we have to change the fix the 30 divided by 10, which is 3, and then 8 plus 3 is 11. Then on number 10, the brackets act just like a big parentheses. So we've got to do all of this stuff on the inside here first. So we start over again on the inside. Do we have any parentheses? Yes. So everything else stays the same. We're only fixing that. 3 plus 4 is 7. That will be the only thing left in the parentheses, so we can drop the parentheses and we get 7. Then inside the brackets, parentheses, no. Exponents, no. Multiplication or division inside the parentheses, yes. So this becomes 20 minus 7 times 2 is 14 plus 5. We change one thing at a time. Then inside the brackets, any parentheses? No. Exponents? No. Multiplication or division? No. Addition, subtraction? Yes. So 20 minus 14 is 6. That will be the only thing left inside the brackets. So I'm going to drop the brackets. And then 6 plus 5 is 11. Okay. Any others from this first sheet? Okay, how about from the second sheet? Ooh, whoa, whoa, whoa. All right, so I got 12 and 10. All right, so let's see, what was 12? 12 was 10 squared minus 99. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Parentheses, no. Exponents, yes. 10 squared means 10 times 10, and 10 times 10 is 100. Then any parentheses? No. Exponents? No. Multiplication or division? No. Addition, subtraction? Yes. 100 minus 99 is 1. And then 10 from this page was 1 to the 5th plus 2 to the 3rd divided by 4. Any parentheses? No. Exponents? Yes. So that's the first exponent that I come to. 1 to the 5th means 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's 1 plus 2 cubed divided by 4. Then any parentheses? No. Exponents? Yes. 1 plus 2 cubed means 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. Then any parentheses? No. Exponents? No. Multiplication or division? Yes. 1 plus 8 divided by 4 is 2. And then we have left 1 plus 2, which is 3. Okay, so again, the key is, first of all, knowing, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, and then making sure that you fix one thing at a time. Don't try to do more than one thing at a time, because if you do, then you're going to probably make a mistake. It's easy to do if you start trying to do multiple things, get things thrown out of order. All right, any other questions? All right, and then we had reading, grammar rather, finding a topic sentence. So let me turn that off and pull this back up. Okay, so take a look at these. Any questions about any of these?
Go ahead and get it. Bring this back to you, mister.
So what's the deal?
They're gonna try to reschedule it in person. So Miss Cobb told her to hang out until Miss Jackson got here at 10
Okay.
and have her, because she didn't, Miss Cobb's still new, so she don't know all the ins and outs. So she's gonna see if she can get Miss Jackson to help her reschedule
Okay.
the math in person
Okay.
and still be able to use the grant.
Okay.
So,
Great.
I mean, she went through 2 proctors to was getting ready for a third one. The third one never showed up.
Oh my word.
So,
Well, thank you for helping her.
no problem. That's, I mean, it's, grant the charger too. Oh, okay. So that's, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. All right. There is something we need to do because most of you have not been through this. In fact, looking at my list, I only think one of you have been through this. So give me just a second. Okay, I am sending you a document. Make sure that, like I said, most of you have not had my talk, so I'm going to make sure that everybody is up to speed. These are the class requirements, rules, expectations. So number 1, you must commit to class meeting dates and times. If your schedule does not fit in with the class schedule, then you need to contact the adult ed office and change your schedule. So if it's not possible for you to be here from 8:30 until 12:30, we have lots of other classes, online classes, face-to-face classes that meet all different times during the day. So we can find a class that better fits your schedule. The class starts at 8:30. Okay. And so you're expected to be here at 8:30. You must have a capable computer and reliable internet connection. There's no way that you can take an online class if you don't have a computer that's going to let you do the online work. We do have a loaner program. I don't know if there are any computers available. They typically go pretty quick, but you've got to have a reliable computer. You've got to have a good internet connection. Part C, 6 hours of instruction per week. You are required. It is not an option. You are required to have at least 6 hours of instruction per week. 3.5 of those hours have to be in class. So you have to have 6 hours per week of instruction. That is a requirement. If you don't obtain your 6 hours, you've got to make it up. We're going to talk about that in a second. Part E, active participation and engagement in class. You've got to be participating in class. I keep a checklist. I don't know if you can see on my camera, but I have a checklist where I take notes during every single class. Who's participating, who's answering the questions, who's doing the warm up, and who's not doing the warm up. who's leaving early, who's showing up late, etc. So I keep notes on everything. Do not log into class late. If you're 15 minutes late, you need to have a good reason, and you should be letting me know ahead of time. Letting me know ahead of time. Communication is vital, that you are in contact with me and letting me know what's going on. If you're going to be late, then you need to send me an email or a text and let me know that you're going to be late. Supplies and materials, you're expected to have a notebook, pencil, paper, pen, etc. for every class session. You should have a notebook that you're taking class notes, holding your classwork and assignments. I haven't done a notebook check lately. In fact, since this term, I haven't done one, but I will be doing one. You need to be completing all of your classwork. That's part of the participating in class, doing your the classwork that I give you. You need to complete all homework assignments as assigned by instructor. Missing class does not excuse you from completing your homework. This is a biggie, because if you're not going to do the assignments, you're not going to stay in class. And the thing is you might not get caught the first time, the second time, maybe not even the third time, but you're eventually going to get caught. And when you get caught, you've got to make up all of that work. And what typically happens is it's so much that you can't get it all done in the time period that I give you, and you end up getting dropped from class. I smurf you. Okay, so homework is a requirement. It is not an option. Homework is a requirement. It is not an option. You need to be communicating with me prior to missing a class or being late. I have some folks that they miss 2 or 3 classes. I don't ever hear from them. I have no idea what's going on, what's happening, nothing. I'm going to end up dropping you because I haven't heard from you. I don't know what's going on. You haven't made up any of the time. I'm going to be dropping you from class. I've got to know what's going on. You've got to be in communication with me and let me know when you're going to be late or if you're going to miss class. Homework assignments are due at the time you log into class. You must submit your homework via the method indicated by the instructor. We use Blackboard, so you need to be submitting your assignments in Blackboard. You have to make sure that you submit them on the correct day. Blackboard does this gradebook thing where each assignment is listed, and I go in and I look to see which assignments are filled in for those particular days. If you don't turn an assignment in, it doesn't show up on the list, and that means you didn't do it. You can't send me your homework because I can't put your homework in for you, and so it shows up as you not doing it. You have to be careful that you're doing, if you're doing makeup work, that you put it in the correct day. If you go into the homework assignment for today and you put in 5 homework assignments that are makeup work for today, Blackboard says, oh, you submitted homework today. It doesn't see that it's homework also for 3 or 4 or 5 other days. It sees it as today. It's a computer. It can't look at your homework and say, oh, this one's for the October the 10th. This one's for October the 4th. It doesn't know that. It just says you submitted homework today, and that's it. The others are blank and shows you didn't do it. You have to be careful you're putting it in the correct class. You all are in the morning class. I'm getting homework turned in the night class. Well, when I pull your grade sheet up, your grade sheet is looking at the homework that you did for this class, the 8:30 morning class. If you're submitting homework in the other class, it doesn't show up. I mean, you've got to be careful that you're putting it in the right place, because Blackboard, again, Blackboard doesn't know. It doesn't know if you're in the 400 class or the night class or the morning class or the face-to-face class. It has no idea. It just says, okay, homework was submitted right here in this class on this date, and that's all it knows. So you've got to make sure you're putting it in the right place. But once again, homework is a requirement. It is not an option. That is the thing that gets most people smurfed. 90% of the people that get smurfed just because they're not doing their homework. And you eventually get caught. You are required to have your camera on during class. I don't hold y'all to that all the time. Occasionally, I want the cameras on so I can make sure that you all are sitting there in front of your computer, because believe it or not, we have had people that they log into class and then they go off and go do something else. They're fixing dinner or bathing their kids, but they're logged in. That doesn't count. And so sometimes I will ask everybody to turn their cameras on so I can see that you are actually sitting there in front of your computer. Make sure that you're in a quiet and peaceful location. It's not acceptable to be in a location where you've got TV going or radio or music. Make sure that your family members are aware that you're in class. They should not really be sitting in the room with you. They shouldn't be moving in and out. Again, I know that life happens. Some of you have kids that you've got to be watching too. So yes, that's fine. I understand that. I also understand that you might be set up in your den and that's the best place, and your family members may move through. That's fine. That's okay. Just please make sure that if you are in a place where people are moving through, that they know that you're on camera, and so they need to make sure they have their clothes on. You would be surprised how many times we've had somebody on camera and somebody walk through and they don't have any clothes on. So if you're going to be in a place where people are walking through, make sure everybody in the house has their clothes on. While you're in class, make sure that your microphone is muted unless you are asking a question or answering a question. If we're covering material that you feel is below your ability level, let me know and I will adjust. I will give you some stuff that's harder, and vice versa. If you think that what we're doing is way too hard, let me know and we will work on getting you some stuff that's a little bit easier that you can understand, that will then build you up to where we're at. Number 3, be respectful of all classmates. Don't tease, ridicule, or belittle fellow classmates. No profanity or foul language. Act and conduct yourself as an adult. You're now in an adult setting and all of you are treated as adults, even those of you that are underage. You're still treated as adults because you are in an adult situation. You're not in Kansas anymore, Toto. Text or email if there are any situations that are going to prevent you from coming to class or being late. Do not call my cell phone. Do not call, do not call, do not call. It messes my phone up. For some reason, Google Voice messes my phone up if I answer a phone call. Text me or email me. Number 7, 6 hours of instruction per week are required with a minimum of 3.5 hours of instruction in class. We suggest that you get more time if you want to improve your test scores or move through faster. The cycle is 40 hours. After 40 hours, you take a post-test, and your post-test scores determine whether you're ready to go on and take a GED ready test. Number 8, missed instructional time can be made up through Essential Ed or Aztec. You can also get extra hours or work on areas of weakness using those platforms. So 6 hours are required. If you miss class, you need to make it up. And I should not be the one contacting you saying, okay, you haven't done your hours. You know whether you've been in class 6 hours. Okay. Hold on one second. I got a situation here. I'll be right back. And so it's your responsibility to get those hours made up if you miss. All right. Violation of any of these rules will result in a verbal and or written warning. The third violation will result in being dropped from class. And sometimes it's even might be the second violation. If I email you and say you're not doing your homework, get stuff turned in, and then I have to email you again and you haven't done a single thing, which I get that from time to time, where I've contacted you and said you're not doing your work, I need it turned in. A week later, I still don't have any work turned in, you're probably getting smurfed. And being smurfed means you are dropped from class. You don't have access to class, you don't have access to any of the online stuff, you're out. And then you have to attend a smurf meeting with the dean and explain to the dean why you got smurfed and what you're going to do to keep from being smurfed in the future. And a lot of times when you get smurfed, you're out for a month, maybe 2 months. Sometimes it's 3 months before you can get back in. Your second smurf, if you get smurfed a second time, you're out for 6 months to a year. Most of the time it's a year. 1 full year before you can come back in. So getting smurfed is not something that you want to have happen. Any questions? All right, here's what I need you to do. Okay, that is my Google Voice number. I need you to send me a text that says the following. My name is whatever your name is. I have read and understand Mr. Bostock's class rules. So I need you to send me a text to that number. Send me a text to that number that says, my name is whatever your name is. I have read and understand Mr. Bostock's class rules. If you don't have a phone or your phone is not working, then you can send it to me in an email. Okay, still waiting on some of you to send me your text. Okay, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mr. Ricks, I haven't gotten anything. I have from Mr. Satterwhite, Ms. Carter, Ms. Dunn, Ms. Brown, Mr. Magnus. Okay. Okay. Mr. Smith, let me send you this. Hopefully you feel like you did well on your test. Okay. You need to read that. And then I need you to send me a text at 706-592-8272. And the text needs to say, where is it? Where did I write it? Needs to say, my name is blank. I have read and understand Mr. Bostock's class rules. Okay, those of you that were just in here, I haven't gotten, all I have is Mr. Satterwhite, Miss Carter, Miss Dunn, Miss Brown, Mr. Magnus. The rest of you, I have not gotten anything from you. Okay. Yes, I got it. That's fine. You can send it through email. Okay. All right, I'm still waiting to hear from Miss Foston and Miss Goldwire. If you can't send it by phone, or if your phone is being weird, send it to me in an email. Yes, I got yours, Mr. Smith. Yep, I got it. We're waiting on Miss Foston and Miss Goldwire. Either send the text or send it in an email. Okay, yes, Miss Foston, yours just came in. I'm still waiting on Miss Goldwire. Are you there, Miss Goldwire? Miss Goldwire, are you there? Okay, I'm going to assume not. Okay. Today we are going to be graphing points on a coordinate plane. And this is directly related to what we are doing. So you need to get out your notebook. Get this pulled up. Okay, I'm going to need to get out of that.
Not the other way. Zevo traps use light to attract and trap flying insects with no odor and no mess. They work continuously, so you don't have to. Zevo, people-friendly but deadly.
Before Course Hero, I spent hours looking for help online when I was stuck on homework or studying for tests.
Hi, I'm Rob. Welcome to Math Antics. In this lesson, we're going to learn something that's an important foundation for tons of math problems, including those you'll encounter while learning basic algebra. We're going to learn about graphing, which basically means taking mathematical relationships and turning them into pictures. Hey friends, welcome back to the joy of graphing. We're going to pick up right where we left off. We already have this nice, beautiful function right here, but it needs a friend. And we're going to do that by adding some points. So let's put the next point right here. Now all we need to do is connect those points because they're all friends. And what do friends do? They stay connected. Oh, and look at that. That's beautiful. Well, not the kind of picture that you'd hang on your wall. Graphing just means making a visual representation of an equation or data set so you can understand it better. It's a way of helping you literally see how math works. When math is just a bunch of numbers and symbols on a page, it can be pretty abstract and hard to relate to. But graphing is like a window into the abstract world of math that helps us see it more clearly. In fact, the focus of our lesson today actually looks a bit like a window, and it's called the coordinate plane. The coordinate plane is the platform or stage that our graphing will take place on. But to understand how it works, we first need to start with its closest relative, the number line. You remember how a number line works, right? A number line starts at 0 and represents positive numbers as you move to the right and negative numbers as you move to the left. And there's usually marks showing where each integer is along the way. Now imagine cloning that number line and rotating the copy counterclockwise by 90 degrees so that the second number line is perpendicular to the first and they intersect at their 0 points. What we have now is a number plane. It's basically like a two-dimensional version of a number line, but that second dimension makes it much more useful. With a simple one-dimensional number line, we could show where various numbers were located along that line by drawing or plotting points. But no matter how many points we plot, they're always on the same line. But with the two-dimensional number plane, we can plot points anywhere in that 2D area, and that opens up a whole new world of possibilities. With the one-dimensional number line, plotting points was easy. You just needed one number to tell you where to plot a point. But with the two-dimensional number plane, you actually need two numbers to plot each point. These two numbers are called coordinates because they're the same rank or order, and they work together to specify the location of a point on the number plane. In fact, that's why the number plane is often referred to as the coordinate plane. It's the stage for plotting coordinates. Coordinates use a special format to help you recognize them. The two numbers are put inside parentheses with a comma between them as a separator. So when you see 2, 5, or -7, 3, or 0, 1.5, you know you're dealing with coordinates. Okay, to understand how coordinates work, remember that our number plane is formed by combining two perpendicular number lines. From now on, we're going to refer to each one of these number lines as an axis. One of the axes is horizontal, like the horizon, which means the other axis is vertical, or straight up and down. And they're often called the horizontal and vertical axes because of that. But even more often, the axes are referred to by variable-based names. The horizontal axis is called the x-axis, and the vertical axis is called the y-axis. Why use variable names? Well, there's two good reasons. The first is that variable names are more flexible than horizontal and vertical, which relate to specific orientations in space that may not always be relevant. And the second reason is that each of the two coordinate numbers is actually a variable that relates to a specific position along one of the two axes of the coordinate plane. And since those variables are usually called x and y, it makes sense to name the two axes the same way. The first coordinate number listed will be called x, and the second coordinate number listed will be called y. And we're always going to list the numbers in that same order, x first and then y, so that we never get confused about which is which. In fact, coordinates are often called ordered pairs because they're a pair of numbers that are always listed in the same order. X value first, y value second. So if you have the coordinates 3, 5, that means x equals 3 and y equals 5. Pretty easy, right? But now, how do we actually plot these coordinates, or ordered pairs, on the coordinate plane? Well, the first number in the ordered pair tells you where along the x-axis the point is located. And the second number in the ordered pair tells you where along the y-axis the point is located. The two numbers in an ordered pair work together to define a single point. And each one of the numbers only gives you half of the information about where that point is. To see how this works, let's plot the coordinates 3, 2. First, we locate the x value along the x-axis, which is at 3 in this case. But instead of putting a point there, we draw, or just imagine, a line perpendicular to the x-axis that goes through the 3. We do that because the first number in the ordered pair only tells us where along the x-axis the point is, but it could be anywhere along the y-axis. We won't know that until we plot the second number. So temporarily, we just draw a line there to represent every possible point that could have an x value of 3. Next, we locate the y value along the y-axis, which is at 2 in this case. But again, instead of putting a point there, we draw or just imagine a line perpendicular to the y-axis that goes through the 2. We do that because the second number in the ordered pair only tells us where along the y-axis the point is, but it could be anywhere along the x-axis. So we just draw a line there to represent every possible point that could have a y value of 2. But look what we've got now. The first line represents all the possible locations where x equals 3. And the second line represents all the possible locations where y equals 2. And the exact point where the two lines intersect represents the only point in the entire coordinate plane where both x equals 3 and y equals 2. That intersection is the location of our point. Pretty cool, huh? And that's a really good way to understand how the coordinate plane works. But I want to show you an even easier and more intuitive way to actually plot points. This more intuitive way involves starting with a point at the origin of the coordinate plane and then treating the coordinates like a set of simple instructions that tell you how far to move your point in the x and y directions. For example, to plot the coordinates 3, 2, like before, we start by imagining a point at the origin, 0, 0. Then we look at the first number in our ordered pair to see how far we need to move our point in the x direction. Since x is positive 3, we move our point a distance of 3 units in the positive x direction. And then from there, since y is positive 2, we move our point a distance of 2 units in the positive y direction. So that's a pretty easy method for plotting points. Let's try it a few more times so you get the idea. Let's plot the coordinates -4, 3. Again, we start by imagining a point at the origin and then let the coordinates tell us how far to move it along the x and y axes. Since x is -4, we move the point a distance of 4 units, but this time in the negative x direction, which is to the left. And then, since y is positive 3, we move the point a distance of 3 units in the positive y direction. Now, let's plot the coordinates -3, -3. In this case, x and y are both negative, so starting with a point at 0, 0, we move it 3 units in the negative x direction and then 3 units in the negative y direction. And last, let's plot the coordinates 4, -2.5. Starting at 0, 0, we move the point 4 units in the positive x direction and then 2.5 units in the negative y direction. Okay, so we've plotted 4 ordered pairs the easy way. And did you notice that each of these points is located in a different region of the coordinate plane? These 4 regions are called quadrants, and their boundaries are defined by the 2 axes of the coordinate plane. The quadrants are named 1 through 4, so we can easily refer to them in conversations if we need to. Quadrant 1 is the upper right quadrant, and it contains all of the points where both the x and y values are positive. Quadrant 2 is the upper left, and it contains all of the points that have a negative x value and a positive y value. Quadrant 3 is the lower left, and it contains all of the points that have both a negative x and a negative y value. And quadrant 4 is the lower right, and it contains all of the points that have a positive x value and a negative y value. Roman numerals are usually used to label the 4 quadrants, and they're in that order because that's the order you would encounter the quadrants if you started with a line segment from the origin to the coordinate 1, 0, and then rotated that line counterclockwise around the origin. Doing this sweeps out a shape called a unit circle, which is divided into 4 quadrants, just like the coordinate plane. All right, so now you know what the coordinate plane is, and you know how to plot points on it. But you might be wondering, what has this got to do with basic algebra? Well, algebra involves many different types of equations and functions that are a lot easier to understand if we graph their solutions on the coordinate plane. And as you know, the way to really get good at math is to practice what you've learned by doing some exercise problems. Thanks for watching Math Antics, and I'll see you next time.
Okay, that's the first one.
Listen to music without muting the world around you. Live stream your creations from your POV. Take calls without interrupting your flow. Capture your unique perspective in an instant, straight from your glasses. The next generation of smart glasses by Ray-Ban and Meta.
Welcome to Math with Mr. J. So this video is going to be an introduction to coordinate planes. We're going to cover some very important vocabulary words and concepts when it comes to coordinate planes. And as you can see on the left-hand side of your screen, we have 6 numbers there, followed by important vocab words and concepts. So that's what we're going to cover in this video. And on the right-hand side of your screen, we have a coordinate plane that we're going to use to show examples of these and where these things are on the coordinate plane. So let's jump right into number 1 here, which happens to be coordinate plane. And a coordinate plane is a 2-dimensional surface, so flat, on which we can plot points, lines, curves, etc. Now, here on the right-hand side of your screen is an example of a coordinate plane. And then number 2 and number 3, this is what our coordinate plane consists of. It consists of an x and a y axis, and it's very important to know the difference between the x and the y axis. So the x-axis is the horizontal or side-to-side axis. So I'm going to come over to the right-hand side of your screen and label the x-axis. Again, x, side-to-side or horizontal. Now y-axis is the vertical or up and down. So I'll come to the top of your screen here and label that the y-axis. So again, x side to side, y up and down. Now number 4, we have the origin. And the origin is where everything starts on our coordinate plane when we plot points. We always start at 0, 0 and go from there. So I'm going to put a circle around the origin here, 0, 0.
So when we plot points, we always start there at the center and then go side to side and then upward down. And we're going to go through a few examples of those here next for number 5. So for number 5, we have ordered pairs / coordinates. Now, the two numbers within the parentheses, so for example, this 3 and 5, that's an ordered pair. The 3 is the x coordinate and the 5 is the y. The x always comes first. You always go side to side and then up or down. So let's plot 3, 5. We start at the origin in the center of our coordinate plane and we go over 3 on the x-axis. Now that's a positive 3, so I'm going to underline that there. So we go over 3 and then up to positive 5. Now where those intersect, we plot a point. And I'm going to label that point so we know exactly where we plotted that point. Now the second ordered pair, 6, -7. So again, x always comes first, followed by our y coordinate. So we would start at the origin in the center. We would go over a positive 6. Now this time we're going to go down 7 though, because that's a -7. So over 6, down to -7, plot a point where they intersect. I'm going to label this point as well. And then lastly, we have -7, 9. So again, x always comes first, followed by y. Now this time we're going to go left of 0 because that's a -7. So -7's over here. And then our y is positive, a positive 9. So we're going to go up. Plot our point, and I'll label -7, 9. So again, always side to side and then up or down. Lastly, we have quadrants. Now, if you look at your coordinate plane there, you'll notice that we have 4 sections: top right, top left, bottom right. So this 3, 5 right here, this top fourth, this is considered quadrant 1. I'm going to use Roman numerals here. Now I'm going to jump to the left where -7, 9 is. This is considered quadrant 2. So -7, 9, that point is plotted in quadrant 2. Now we're actually going to go down to the bottom left, and that is quadrant 3. And then we go to the bottom right, and that is quadrant 4. So we actually go around this way when we count out our 4 quadrants. So again, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 6, -7, that point is plotted in quadrant 4. So there you have it. There's the basics of coordinate planes and some very important vocabulary words and concepts that we need to know. Thanks so much for watching.
Okay, and then finally,
Students love learning with Prodigy because it makes math so much fun.
To plot the coordinates 2, 1, go right 2, jump up 1, and you're done. To plot -8, +2, go left 8, up 2, that's what we do.
On the x-axis,
Count left or right.
on the y
-4. Top right 6 down 4. Let's do one more with the ordered pair 0, -3. Remain at the origin. Go down 3 with me.
For the x-axis,
Count left or right.
on the y-axis,
Count up or down. That's how our coordinates point is found.
the coordinates are kinda like clues, telling you where to plot the x and y values. And when you see them on a questionnaire, they can be called coordinates or an ordered pair. There are 4 quadrants. The first is in the top right corner. The second, third, and fourth go in counterclockwise order. Finally, there's a place you begin. At 0, 0, called the origin. For the x-axis,
Count left or
on
right.
the y-axis,
Count up or down. That's how our coordinates point is found.
Okay, that is our videos. I have that it's almost 10:30, so we're going to take a break and we're going to come back at 10:45, ready to work some problems together. So I'm going to put in here, take a break until 10:45. All right, so be back at 10:45 and we will get started. Anybody have any questions of me before I take a break? Okay, I'm taking my break. I'm going to step away. Remember, do not log out. Stay logged in. So let me know if you're back. All right. I'm going to start with this. Okay, so you should have a sheet that looks like this. And basically what they want us to do is to tell where these points are located. And then the second part is we're going to plot the points. So first part here, talking about where are these points located. Okay. The first thing we need to do though is indicate that this is our x-axis. This is our y-axis. Okay. So we will start with point A, and they gave us the answer, but to get to point A, we would move over 5 to the right because the 5 is positive, and then in the y direction we would go 3, which means we go up, and so that ends up being our point. This is the point 5, 3. Okay. For point B, B is right there in the center where the x and y axis intersect. And so its x coordinate is 0, the y coordinate is 0. So this point is at 0, 0. B is at 0, 0. We're not moving in either direction. It stays at the intersection point. Okay. C. To get to C, we start at the origin. So C is over here. We would have to go in the negative direction to -9. And then we would have to go in the y direction, -4. So this point is at -9, -4. And we can write those on here. Point C is at -9, -4. Okay. Point D, start at the origin. We go in the negative x direction, -10. And then we have to go up 1, 2, 3, 4. So we went in the positive y direction, 4. So D is at the point -10, 4. Okay. Point E is right here. Okay. Tell me what the coordinates of that point would be. Okay. Tell me what the coordinates of E would be. And remember, ordered pairs, we have to put in parentheses. Okay, we're looking for the coordinates for E. Coordinates for E. Coordinates of E. Okay, we want to be careful in the x direction, and coordinates always go in parentheses. Always go in parentheses. So to get to this point, we would go 4 in the x direction, and then we would go -8 in the y direction. So the coordinates of E are at 4, -8. Have to be in parentheses. I'm not sure. I can barely see this. I'm not sure why. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. See if that helps some. All right, let's look now at F. Tell me what the coordinates of F would be. coordinates of F. And remember, coordinates go inside parentheses, inside parentheses. If you leave the parentheses off, then you're incorrect. They have to be inside parentheses. Okay, so start at the origin. We would go over to 10 on the x-axis and then go up to 10 on the y-axis. So you're correct. The coordinates are 10, 10. So F is at 10, 10. How about G? What are the coordinates of G? Coordinates of G. Okay, those of you that said negative 4, 4, be careful. If I start at the origin, if I go to negative 4 on the x-axis and then 4 on the y-axis, I'm actually sitting right there. So I went negative 4 in the x direction, but we didn't move any in the y direction. We stayed on the x-axis, so the y coordinate is 0. Okay, so the answer is negative 4, 0. All right, let's see, H. What are the coordinates of H? Coordinates of H. Okay, we're looking for the coordinates of H. Okay, good. In the X direction, we don't move anything. We don't move forward or back. We're staying at 0 on the X direction. So the X coordinate is 0, and then we go to positive 7 on the Y. So yes, it is 0, 7. How about point I? What are the coordinates of I? Okay. Careful. Some of you are not being careful with your negatives. We start at the origin and we have to go negative 6 in the X direction, negative 6, and then down 8, and down is negative. So the coordinates of this point are negative 6, negative 8. All right, and then finally J. What are the coordinates of J? Okay, good. We go 9 in the x direction, -2 in the y direction. Okay, now this next part, let's see, let's write this here. This would be 9, -2. So this next part, you would need some graph paper. If you don't have any graph paper, you can go to Google and type in graph paper, and you'll find all kind of images of graph paper. And you could either that, or you can open it in like Google Docs or something like that, and you can annotate or write on that graph. Okay, so on number 1, they did that for us. They wanted us to plot the point 6, -3. So we start at the origin. We go 6 in the positive direction in x, and in y we go -3. So this point is at 6, -3. To plot point B, they want -4, 10. So we go in the x direction, -4. And then +10, -4, +10 would be right there. So that would be point B, and it is at -4, 10. Okay, and we'll do a couple more of these. Number 3, 0, -10. Means we go 0 in the x direction and then -10 in the y direction. So this is the point 0, -10. Okay, I think you get the idea. I do have another one that I want us to look at because it kind of goes one step further and sort of does an application of this. Okay, so all right, so here's the next one that we're going to look at. And it looks like all right, so let's take a look at this one. It says down here that, well, up here at the top, Jameson is planning his next quilting project. He's using a coordinate plane to design a section of the quilt. Each square on the coordinate plane represents 1 square inch on Jameson's quilt. Follow the directions below to help Jameson plan his design. So down here at the bottom, it says Jameson wants to add shapes to his design. Add the following shapes to the coordinate plane. So they want a square where the vertices are at 4, 6. So that's the first point we've got to plot. 4. So we go over 4 in the x direction, 6 in the y direction, and that's our first point. Okay, then the second point is 7, 6. So we would go over 7 in the x direction, 6 in the y direction. So that's the second point. The third point is at 4, 9. So we go to 4, 9. All right. And then finally 7, 9. 7, 9. And so if we connect these, we get a square. Okay. Next, they want a triangle. So vertices at -3, 4. So if we go to -3, 4, and then +3, 4. So +3, +4. And then finally -2, 9. -2, 9 would be right there. And so our triangle would be okay. So just sort of an application of the same kind of thing. Okay. I don't think we're going to do that. Any questions? I think this is pretty straightforward. Probably one of the easiest things we've done. Okay, so I have some that I want you to work yourself. Okay. Well, I'm using something called Kami, K-A-M-I. It is an extension on Google, and it's free if you wanted to use it. If you come to your over here, the 3 dots, and where it says extensions, you can manage your extensions or view the Chrome Web Store. And the extension that I'm using is called Kami, K-A-M-I. And again, it's free. So if you go to the Chrome Web Store, again, over here, the 3 dots in Chrome, and go to extensions and go to Chrome Web Store, you would then search for, right up here where it says search for Kami, K-A-M-I, and it'll pop up, and I already have it installed, but you would click on it and install it, and it lets you write on, you can open a document and then write on that document. Okay. All right. So that link that I just sent you, I want you working on that. Let me pull up what it looks like. I don't know if it's on Google Play or not. That's interesting. Let me see if it is. Actually, yes, it is an app. I don't know if it's the same thing, though. I think that's a security app. So I'm not seeing that it is. So no, it is not in the App Store. It's in the Chrome App Store. Okay, so I have that it is 11:10. So I want you working on this. There's some information. And so, yes, you are doing basically the first stuff here are just some example problems. Okay, that's all the first, second, and third page. When you get down here to the fourth page, then here's a coordinate plane, answer this question. And then here are some questions. Here's some questions on terminology. Some more questions on this. And then finally, some multiple choice type questions. Okay, so it looks like a lot, but it's not that many questions. All right. So the problems actually start on page 127. Okay, I think that's everybody. Is there anybody still working on this? Anybody still working on this? All right, we show you the answers. So take a look at these. It starts over here, 4.5. Okay. Well, keep working. I won't show all the answers yet until you tell me you're done. Okay. And there are the rest of the answers. Ooh. Any questions about any of these? No questions. Okay, hoping that means y'all got them all right. Okay, that's good. All right, today is reading. So let me pull up. Today we're going to be looking at author's tone or point of view. So give me a second. All right, so out of that, back into okay, so you might want to get out your notebook, take some notes.
In the previous video, we saw how writers have a specific purpose when they write. We also saw that they bring their point of view, which colors what they say and how they say it. There's something else that's very important, the author's tone. So stick around and let's see how understanding the author's tone can help you improve your reading comprehension. Hi, welcome back to Snap Language. My name is Mark Franco. This video is part of a series about detecting and interpreting elements in writing that help you improve your reading comprehension. So please subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our videos. We saw that the writer's point of view affects what the writer actually says about the topic. Depending on your point of view, you may feel very differently about things. Depending on how you feel, you treat the topic differently too. So your point of view affects your attitudes, and your attitudes affect how you express yourself. Attitudes and opinions affect your tone. For example, let's say we have a meeting, but you're very late. Hear the differences in tone. What happened? You're late. What happened? You're late. What happened? You're late. The words were the same, but you heard the differences in the tone I used, right? So actually, the message was not the same. I communicated more than the words were saying by themselves. So how does the writer's tone really work in writing? Word choice. Writers select the words they want to use very carefully because they want to communicate their message exactly. Thankfully, the language gives you many options that communicate many nuances. For example, I can say your lateness is annoying or irritating, infuriating. You have no idea how utterly infuriating your lateness is. Whoa, this last one was quite pissy. So you see that by using different vocabulary, you can express the message plus something else, the tone in which the message is intended. Let's put it all together. We've been learning about the author's purpose, point of view, and tone. Let's say the writer wants to write a passage in psychology using facts and really good information. So the purpose is to inform. The writer may have a point of view about the topic which may affect the information he or she includes. What tone is appropriate for this? Probably a neutral or serious tone. Now, let's say the writer wants to write about his position against criminalization of marijuana in the United States. The purpose will likely be persuasive. If the writer feels very strongly about his point of view, he or she will use a negative, even angry tone to talk about the criminalization of marijuana users, but a positive, maybe hopeful tone to talk about the decriminalization of the use of marijuana. As you can see, these elements in writing work hand in hand. As the reader, your job is to determine the writer's purpose, point of view, and tone to interpret the message. Doing so will improve your reading comprehension. Understanding the writer's purpose tells you what information you need to focus on while you read.
Okay, that's an important note.
Determining the author's point of view helps you evaluate the information and the author's possible biases toward the topic. Detecting the writer's tone helps you understand not only the words you're reading, but also the attitudes the author is conveying. I hope you enjoyed learning how these things come together in reading, and I hope this will help you improve your reading comprehension. Have you always noticed the writer's purpose, point of view, and tone? Or is this new to you? Do you think effective readers really think about these things while they read? If you have any thoughts about this, please leave them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to check the descriptions under the video for more materials. And until next time, thanks for stopping by and watching this video.
Okay.
And then I said, okay, hold on, I get to skip the counter and pick my car as a Gold Plus Rewards member? Sign me up for that!
Sign me up, baby!
Sign me up right away!
I had no idea you were so funny! Sovereign, you are hysterical!
In the previous video, we saw that Knowing the author's purpose for writing helps you understand better what you read because you know what you need to pay attention to in the text. But writers also bring their own viewpoints into their writing. Does detecting the writer's point of view help you interpret what you read? Stick around and let's see how understanding the writer's point of view can help you improve your reading comprehension. Hi, welcome back to Snap Language. I'm Mark Franco. This is one in a series of videos that talk about detecting and interpreting elements in writing that help you improve your reading comprehension. So make sure you subscribe to Snap Language so you don't miss any of our videos. The writer's point of view affects what the writer says about the topic and how the writer says it. As you know, sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Your point of view is the direction you come from or the perspective you have when you approach a topic. When you approach a topic, a poor person will look at a house and say, "Wow, what a great house." A rich man will probably say, "What a quaint little shack." So, is the house a mansion or is it just a shack? Well, neither. It's the same house, but a poor person sees it from a poor person's viewpoint. A rich person sees it from a different viewpoint. It's just a different perspective, but it can make an important difference. Our point of view colors our perception of the world. Whether we notice it or not, our points of view affect how we think
this sounds
and what we believe. So understanding a writer's point of view helps you understand how that person thinks. You're able to read the author's ideas or opinions and say, "I understand where you're coming from, but what if someone has a different viewpoint?" Do writers give you the whole information, or do they give you only the picture they can see because of their own point of view? For example, take a topic such as capital punishment. Some people are in favor, others are against capital punishment. As you read a passage about it, depending on the information the author gives you or focuses on, you can pretty much tell what the author's point of view is. So let's look at this. Someone in favor of capital punishment may call it capital punishment. Someone against it might call it the death sentence. The first will focus on how fair it is to dole out rigorous justice to a terrible criminal. The other will focus on how a wrongful conviction might send innocent people to their deaths. So you can use context clues to identify the author's point of view. Once you do, you can understand better why the author may be focusing on some things and leaving other things out. The author may have a bias because of his or her viewpoint, so the author will focus on the things he or she believes to be true. It's important to know where the author is coming from or the writer's point of view. It helps you interpret the information carefully. It helps you question what the author may or may not be telling you. And this works in all kinds of situations. In 2014, a white police officer in Ferguson, Missouri, fatally shot Mike Brown, an African-American man. People took to the streets in protest. In the media, some reporters focused on the events as protests, but others focused on the events as violent riots. Some articles may have referred to the protesters as peaceful, but others referred to them as angry mobs. In this article, you can see how Diane Jeanty, a reporter writing for the Huffington Post, discusses Ted Nugent's point of view while expressing her own point of view. The link to this article and other materials are in the descriptions below the video. The events are the same, so why are they reported so differently? Well, it depends on the point of view of the person talking about them. If I feel positively about something, I'll talk about it from a positive angle, and the other way around. My tone will change depending on my point of view and how I feel about it. But wait, the tone is the topic for the next video. So for now, give this one a thumbs up if you'd like, and thanks for stopping by and watching this video.
All right, here's the last one. And yes, I think we did do this, but we've got some new folks, so it doesn't hurt to
Let's
review.
try something new.
Okay.
Liz says that Kim always says no. I'm getting from the tone of her text message here that she probably has a pretty negative attitude about asking Kim to join her again. I mean, I hope she reaches out once more like her mom suggests. Oh, hey, here we go. All right, let's see what Kim says. Kim said no again. Maybe she doesn't like Liz? I mean, Kim is new to the neighborhood. She hasn't really had time to get to know anyone yet. Notice how direct she's being right now. She doesn't say, what time are you going? Or, oh, maybe not today, maybe some other time. No, she just says, no thanks. I've got stuff to do. Ouch. Okay, let's take a step back. Let's take a step back and look at this conversation right now. Liz is clearly coming from a point of view where she's trying to convince Kim that she'll have a good time at the park, right? And her tone in her text messages conveys that point of view. Her texts express that she has fun at the park, that she could come and go as she pleases. It could be kind of a spur of the moment thing, you know, like a carefree day. And her word choice supports that point of view, as well as her personal experiences. And now let's look at Kim's text. Good for you. I know that those words seem kind of encouraging on the surface, but what do you think she's really implying here? Good for you. I can't go. So while it may be easy for Liz to have a fun, carefree day at the park, I don't think Kim believes that. It's almost like she's saying, well, maybe that's your opinion, but it's not my opinion. I can get all that information just by reading the tone of these girls' text messages. And notice, she's not even saying anything like, oh, I don't know, maybe if I have a spare moment tomorrow, I'll show up. That would have at least made Liz feel better and not make it seem like Kim is totally dissing her right now. But Kim just said no. It's pretty clear to me at this point that Liz has her point of view and that Kim has hers. But I just don't know why they differ so much. Ooh, it looks like Liz is responding to Kim's last message. Let's see what she says. Okay, wow, that took a lot of guts for Liz to just confront Kim like that. It's clear that she just wants to know the truth already. Liz got from Kim's texts that she's disinterested and that she wants nothing to do with Liz or her friends. And judging by this text that Liz just sent, it seems like she's hurt by that. I wonder what Kim's going to say. Ooh, okay, interesting. That's interesting. Whoa! Wow! Now I totally get it. I'm understanding why Kim's text messages were like that. If you put yourself in Kim's shoes, you can see her point of view coming through all these short few text messages. She can't just pick up and go, and that's frustrating for her. Oh, now Liz has an idea. Wow. I'd say that's a great solution. This short little text conversation shows us why it's important to pay attention to the writer's point of view or attitude whenever you're reading something they wrote. It helps you figure out their intention or what they wanted to get across to the reader by word choice. Oh, wait, this is texting her mom again. Let's see what she says. Well, thanks for joining me today. You will be learning a lot more about understanding an author's point of view through your assigned reading and online practice sets. Till next time.
Okay, so we have watched these. New folks, you haven't seen them, but we did these probably, I don't know, a month ago maybe. But never hurts to go back over stuff. There is an assignment over this, so those of you that have already done the reading assignment once before, go back and find it and you'll be able to just resubmit it. You won't have to do it a second time. 3 weeks ago? Okay. I knew it wasn't too long ago. All right, so I want to spend a couple of minutes going over something just to make 100% sure that we are crystal clear. Okay, so give me 1 second. All right. And I apologize for those that already know about all of this, but we just need to make sure. Because I've had some questions about where do I find this or how do I do this. Okay. You know that when you log into Blackboard, it takes you to the announcements page. Please note that next week y'all are off. There are no classes during Thanksgiving week. So everybody is off for Thanksgiving week. We'll pick up the Tuesday after the Thanksgiving week. When you log in, it takes you to this class page, this announcements page that everybody sees, all of my different classes. Then over here on the left, you all are the morning class. There's a night class. There is a morning face-to-face class on Monday and Wednesday. Y'all are this class. So right here it says Tuesday, Thursday, 8:30 morning class and folder page. If I click on it, I get our page. Okay. And I've added some stuff to try to get everybody's attention. This page is for the Tuesday, Thursday, 30 morning class. Okay. If you don't see that, then here's what you need to see and think in your head. If you don't see the class information up there at the top.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. No, Will Robinson. Danger.
Danger. Danger. You're in the wrong place. Get to the right place. If you don't see that at the top, you are in the wrong place. Danger. Danger. This is what you should see at the top. If you don't see this, you're in the wrong place. When you scroll down, if you need help submitting your homework, here's step-by-step guides and video. Some of you have asked, where can I check to see if it's been turned in, and I've checked it. Right here it says your course grades. It will give you a list of all of the assignments and whether you've turned them in or not. Any comments that I've made on the assignments. If you need to check your attendance, how many hours you've got, this link will take you to that spreadsheet. Here's some testing information. And then down here are the folders for each class day. Okay. And I've had some folks say, well, I don't see 10 whatever. What would be a day that was in October? I don't see 10:10. There is no 10:10. Well, there's a folder right here that says previous class folders, previous days, previous class days. Click on it, and now it starts in July. And so scroll down and you'll find 10:10. Okay. I put all of this in here so that when you get to this page and you start scrolling down, today's stuff will be close here. If I left all of that stuff down, you'd have this thing a mile long that you'd have to scroll through all of that stuff down to the bottom. So I'm making it easy for you to find our current stuff. I keep about 5 days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can't see this one yet, but you can see these 5. When this one becomes active, this 1026 will get moved into this folder, and it will be at the bottom of the page. So it just moves from here and goes to the other folder. So here's where you can find any of the previous class days. So let's say that you find out that you need to turn in homework for 10/3. When I click on October 3rd, down at the bottom, always in red are the assignments. So even though this is the folder for 10/3, these are the assignments that are due the next day. But here's where you have to turn them in. You don't turn them in on 10/5 folder, you turn them in here, because here's where you click on it to open that particular assignment. So here is where you would turn it in. So you click on the red link and you come to upload files. You do not create a submission. That's incorrect. You upload files. So you should have taken your phone, taken pictures of your homework, sent those pictures to your email, open your email, pull the pictures off onto your computer, and then click on upload files, and you'll get this thing where it says browse. It's probably not going to show you, but I have a window that just popped up for me to go find my files. Once you've attached all of them, they'll be listed up underneath here, down here. They'll all be listed. Once you have all of the files, you click submit. Okay, so again, you are, even though this is the folder for October 3rd, down here, these are the assignments that are due on the 5th, but they get turned in on the 3rd. Okay, so that's how you find all of the stuff that's here in Blackboard. The previous class folder has all of the other days of class that we've had. The main Tuesday, Thursday morning class page has only about 5 current days, so that this list doesn't get a mile long. Okay, any questions about where to find your assignment, how to turn in your assignment? Okay, this folder you cannot see yet because it will not unlock until 1 o'clock. But if we go in there, here's the videos that we watched, worksheets that we did, author's tone, and down here at the bottom, and I'm trying to do stuff to just make sure that I'm getting your attention. Warning, Will Robinson, warning, warning, warning. Are you in the Tuesday, Thursday morning class? If so, you're in the right place. Here are the documents. If y'all were here 3 weeks ago, you've already done this assignment, apparently. So just go find it and turn it in again. New folks, you weren't here 3 weeks ago, so you can do that assignment. Here are the 2 math assignments. When you finish these, you'll come back here to turn them in. You won't go to the folder for Thursday. You turn them in on the day they were assigned. Okay? If you end up in the wrong place, if you go to the night class and see there's warning, 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 and on their assignment link, it's going to say, are you in the Tuesday, Thursday, 4 o'clock evening class? If you're not, if you see this, that means you're in the wrong place. You need to back out and go back to the morning class. You are in the wrong place if you see this. My Tuesday, Thursday evening class comes here. Okay. Hopefully I have made that a little bit clearer for everybody so that everybody knows where they need to be. All right. Any questions? Okay. Oh, gosh. I hope he's okay. Anybody have any questions? All right. I do need to tell you, Miss Carter, I need you to sign the last page of the application for the grant. I've got your 3 pages, but you didn't sign the last page at the bottom. So I need you to sign that and send that back to me. I sent emails to Miss Dunn, Miss Kirsch, Mr. Ricks. I think Mr. Ricks, maybe not. I may need to talk to you, Mr. Ricks. Miss Williams and Miss Cabral about your vouchers for your GED Ready test for language arts and social studies. Your scores are where you can go ahead and take your GED Ready test, and we'll look to see how you did. Mr. Smith, you took yours today. You need to send me your scores so I know what your scores are. Okay. Mr. Ricks, they cannot see your GED.com account. You have got to go into GED.com and fix the, oh, good. That's good news. You need to go in and fix your GED.com account so that our office can see it. And so you have to, I can show you how to do that if you want to stay on, and I'll walk you through the steps on how to do it. Okay. Mr. Satterwhite, I have your application. I'm going through it, and I will get it completed, the stuff I have to do, and I will get it submitted, and we'll let you know as soon as I know something. You may have, Miss Carter, I'll check. There's a signature on the second page and third page that have to be done. Okay, second page and third page that have to be signed. I'll check again. Maybe the one that I went to was the one that didn't have the third page, but if you'll check as well, okay. Yes, okay. Miss Dunn, yes, I will resubmit that email to you. Okay, but you will, as soon as you get that email, you're going to need to call Miss Barker. Miss Kirsch, you need to do the same thing. Call Miss Barker, and her number is, give me a second. Let's see. It's 4141. Let me copy this. Okay, well, maybe I'm getting old and my short-term memory is really getting bad. I may not have done it. So let's see. Here's, okay. So Miss Dunn and Miss Kirsch, you need to call Miss Barker. This is what the email is going to say. So it'll be just easier for me to tell you here. Call Miss Barker at that number, and you're calling to schedule, I'm going to type it in here, schedule your GED Ready test in reading and social studies. So when you call Miss Barker at that number, tell her that you are calling to set up and schedule your GED Ready test in reading and social studies. That score, when you take that test, tells you whether you are ready to just move on and take the GED. Usually score of 145 or higher, they strongly suggest you go ahead and take the GED in that subject. Less than 145, then you might want to hold off and get some more instruction before you attempt it. Okay, I think that's all of my announcements. So you do have a ticket out the door. Your ticket out the door is to take a photo of a page from your notes on reading. I don't want math. I don't want a worksheet that you did. I want notes, something that you took notes on for reading. And I want you to text it to me. And let me see. I don't know my number because I don't dial it. Let me pull it up here. Give me a second. 8272. Okay. So you need to text me a photo of a page out of your notebook that's reading notes, not a reading worksheet, reading notes. And that's all I've got. Have a great day. Make sure you get your homework. I will see you on Thursday. Everybody be safe. Okay. Well, if you've got where you've taken notes on loose leaf paper, that'll be fine. But you need to get a notebook of some type. Okay, if you send it by text, I have not gotten it. I have not gotten any texts yet on these. Refresh the screen. Okay. Okay, so I got Mr. Satterwhite. This came in. All right, so once again, once you send this to me, text, or if your phone is screwed up, messed up, flaking out, jacked up, then send it to me in an email. Have a good rest of your day. Have a good Wednesday. Be safe. I will see you on Thursday at 8:30. Okay, that's not good. Okay. Ms. Dunn, did you send them by email or by text? Okay, no, I have not gotten your text yet.
Are you still teaching?
We're at the end.
I can speak to you.
Okay.
You still do last night?
No. Why?
I just kind of give him a speech. But maybe I can do it for you.
Maybe what?
Can you do it for you?
Oh yeah, I'd love to hear that. The only texts that I've got are from Miss Carter and Mr. Satterwhite. That's the only texts that I've gotten. I do know sometimes it's delayed and it takes a minute for the file to upload and then to send. And that could be. Okay. Okay. Okay, Miss Dunn, I just got yours. All right, y'all have a good one. Be safe. Make sure you get your homework in. Mr. Ricks, I want to show you. Are you there? You still with me?
I'm here.
All right, let me show you how to fix the GED.com.
Because they called me yesterday because I got a post test tomorrow.
Yeah, your vouchers are ready for your language arts and social studies, but they can't see your account. So let me
Yeah, because they didn't tell me that.
All right, let's see. And now let me see if I can switch this over. Okay, there we go. Okay, so when you get to GED.com, you need to log in. Hopefully I remember my password. Nope, that's not it. Let's see if that's it. Okay, once you get logged into GED.com, up here in the corner, there's a circle with your initials on it. When you click on that circle, underneath your name, there's a link that says Edit Profile. When you click on that, it will take you to your profile page. And down here at the bottom, it needs to say that your GED Test Prep Center is Augusta Technical College. So if it doesn't say that, you need to click here on Edit Prep Center Selection. I'm not going to do it because then it'll mess mine up and I'll have to reset it. But you click on that, and then I think it usually can tell where you're at if your location thing is turned on. And so it may pop up and say, here, you're close to here. But it has to say Augusta Technical College, Augusta campus, the 3200 Augusta Tech Drive. And I think when you find it, you click on it, and then I think there's a choice that says save or submit or something along the lines of that. And then you need to go back. I don't know what it'll do afterwards, but you need to go back and check and make sure that it looks like mine.
Okay. What about the missing assignments? Because that's what I was looking for.
I sent you the ones that were missing.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I sent you an email that has all of them listed.
Okay.
You can also find that by going to your grades, and it'll show you which ones you haven't done.
Okay.
And you need to get that done
They should be done from now to by Friday.
Okay. I'll accept that.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And then you also need to call Miss Barker at that number and tell her the same thing.
About the assignments or
No, about scheduling here. So you need to call Miss Barker at that number, and you need to tell her that you need to schedule your GED ready test in language arts and social studies.
okay.
So that is different from the post test.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions?
No, that'd be all. Thank you.
Okay. If you think of anything, send me an email.
All right.
Ms. Foston, do you have a question? Ms. Foston, you have a question?
If you liked this video, please click on the thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this, please click on the subscribe button. And if you want to be notified when new videos are posted, please click the bell.